Hello babes and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Hannah. If you're into fashion, creating your own business, Paris, this is the place to be. I've been in and out of Paris for the last 5 years and I can't believe I'm saying that, but 5 years of living in Paris. Freelancing, a full-time job, heartbreaks over friendships, metro rides, going home at midnight. For the past 3 years, Paris has been my full-time home. And in that time, I've realized that the way we portray the Parisian style on social media, it's not really exactly the truth, the way that the Parisians dress. The first time I arrived here, I felt this huge urge to buy maybe a new designer bag and get this a luxury experience. But the trendy it girls, they actually don't really wear the newest designer bags. Their bags are vintage, worn down, have scratches, maybe loved already by their grandma. And that famous trench coat that you think every Parisian wears, I mean, that one is true. That comes also in many different colors, blue, khaki, maybe with a print on the inside, you name it. Sometimes it's just a raincoat because it also rains quite a lot here. Think of a raincoat with a silk dress underneath. Paris doesn't really care what you're wearing, how you wear it, as long as you wear it with confidence. French girl style isn't supposed to be minimal. The reality is way more layered. You will see girls wearing Adidas tracksuits with a vintage designer bag. You see grandmothers in leopard print coats, and you see teenagers wearing ballerina flats. There are contradictions everywhere. The unifying factor is, you guessed it right, confidence. Everything looks like it belongs here because they believe that it belongs here. So what really stands out in Paris? It's oversized blazers, it's oversized jeans, a trendy bag, sunglasses in every form and color. I would say that Parisian style is practical, it's personal. It never screams, but it does speak. 2 years ago, the quiet luxury style came into trend. I was thinking, I have to be quiet luxury because I'm living in Paris, I am an influencer on the internet. I really thought that I was gonna be this Parisian style icon by wearing quiet luxury. I don't think that's necessarily me. For example, when the Y2K trend came in, I really thought that I had to buy this cow print. Thank God I never did that because I would never wear it. When I'm looking at my Instagram from 5 years ago, like what has really changed? And to be honest, I am really surprised to say not much. I think I've been very consistent with my style over the years, even though I always felt this pressure of never fitting in. And so what do I come back to? I love a very good trench coat. I think a trench coat is so easy. Also because I like to cover something on my ass so I don't sit with my skirt on the metro because it's very disgusting. I like to rewear a lot of things, and whatever I am not wearing, I sell at my pop-up or I sell on Vinted or I go to the flea market. I try to keep my closet as much as what I like to keep re-wearing. I've also sold a couple of bags that I've noticed I'm not grabbing forward to, or I gave it to my mom and my sister, and then when I felt like I want it back, I grabbed it back. When I started doing my influencer work in Paris, I got gifted a bag from A-Cloud. It's a very beautiful light yellow bag. I've worn it a lot the first 2 years and then I've never really reached for it anymore, and my mom wanted it, so I gave it to her as a borrow. Then the whole yellow trend came back and I completely forgot about this bag, and when I went home I saw it and I kind of fell in love with it again. Now I've been grabbing towards it a lot. For winter, I also love a fur coat in Paris. I think it looks chic, I think it looks unique. Don't come for me if you're thinking that fur is not sustainable. I think there are two ways to this. You can either have microplastics, fake fur, or you can already take fur that's from the flea market in any way already produced, and I know I will love it for a long time. I also love skirts and dresses, and I think you can never get wrong with that. I love them in every color, in every print, from flower to checkered, but I try to keep a minimum of like 10 dresses all year round to keep incorporating into my outfit. And I like to rewear whatever I wore 5 years ago to now, because I do think that I've always had like a hustling life, from working full-time to trying to make it as a fashion creator, and so I do think various dresses are always good to have in Paris. I do recommend to have at least 1 or 2 fancy dresses for when you go out, especially in Paris. Bouncers, for example, of a club or a fancy restaurant will not let you enter if you don't look exactly what they imagine you should wear. Vintage bags are a good investment to have also for your Parisian closet. I bought a Louis Vuitton bag and I've just realized that I am maybe not the biggest fan of the Louis Vuitton print. So I'm trying to sell it on my pop-up. So far it hasn't happened yet. Maybe eventually I will fall back into this love for this bag, but currently I'm trying to sell it. Now I mostly carry my Debunking bag or my Gucci bag in brown I found at the flea market, which was such a steal. I bought vintage bags on the flea market and on some vintage secondhand fairs in Paris. I think you can buy a very good bargain. They do come with a logo, which I am surprisingly liking. I hope this is also a bag that I will keep wearing and eventually give to my daughter or son. I keep wearing button downs. I think they're so easy to style. You can style it with a collar over it or with a cardigan or with a sweater. It comes and goes in how much I actually wear it, but every time I'm kind of falling back in love with it, especially in autumn. I think it's such a classic, especially just in like plain white or like these vintage inspired Cézanne blouses that just keep rotating in my closet. Something I didn't like before, but now that I'm living in Paris, I'm getting really into it, is scarves. I like to tie them around my back, around my neck, use it as a belt for my jeans. They come in so many versions. Big scarves, small scarves, silk scarves. I have one in cashmere that I also love for the winter, and I think it just adds so much to a basic outfit. Jewelry, I love everything pearls, but I've also noticed that a lot of jewelry in France is gold. And when I arrived in Paris 5 years ago, I was a silver girly. Like everything was silver. From all the piercings I have in my ears, I have, by the way, 8 piercings, so 4 on this side, 4 on this side. Everything is in silver. Then slowly I realized that most of the jewelry you can find in France is actually gold. That's something I changed over the years. Is like my whole piercings, everything is now in gold besides this one. I think in France we have a bit more of this intentionally wearing of jewelry. That's why I like to keep it kind of chic and not too flashy. This is something I think I've also changed over the past 5 years, because back in the days I used to wear multiple necklaces at the same time, and now I try to choose only 1 or maximal 2. And then coming to comfortable shoes, when I arrived in Paris I used to wear heels when I went to university, and now I ditched most of my heels. I try to wear as many loafers as I can, ballerinas, boots, but with like a small plateau, because you will walk a lot in Paris. I most of the time already put like 10,000 steps just by going to the office. Comfortable shoes is a must-have. That also means that I'm still not wearing a lot of sneakers. I've never been a sneaker girly. I have 1 pair of sneakers and that's it. I stopped chasing trends because I've just noticed that in the end I am not really wearing them. I think every time I will follow a trend, it's probably that I'm already too late. I imagine since it was the 2014 that Dr. Martens became huge, within a year or 2 I'm pretty sure Dr. Martens will be back. I still have mine, but looking at the style I have right now, I don't really think that a Dr. Martens shoe fits that style. I don't want to get rid of it. I still think that I could potentially wear it. It's just that I'm maybe not gonna be the biggest Dr. Martens style lover anymore. I am obsessed with quality. I will double check how some things are stitched. I will look at the fabric. I wrap everything around, like whenever I go to the flea market or to the thrift store, or even when I go shopping at like one of the malls. I don't want to spend 200 euros on something when I know it's like 100% polyester. I've learned and grow a lot in quality, in the fabrics, in the stitching, and where I shop. I still love to go to all the thrift stores. I go to the flea markets. I love to go to the brocantes. There's another video up where I go in depth on where to find and shop vintage in Paris. I highly recommend you looking at that video. I also love to check out the Leboncoin. It's like eBay where you can just put on like any furniture or anything and people will buy it from you. On there you have so many beautiful stuff. We bought actually a door for our apartment on the Leboncoin because we didn't want to spend like hundreds of euros on a new door. So even for furniture, it works. Paris taught me to love myself, to get dressed for myself, to choose choose quality over quantity, to also romanticize my daily rituals like drinking coffee, being comfortable at home, wearing higher quality when going to the office, being chic. You don't want to go into the metro and thinking like, I hope the skirt doesn't go up. Being comfortable is so important. Wearing perfumes for different occasions, wearing lipsticks in all different colors. And after 5 years, I realized French style isn't about being cool, it's about being yourself. When I look at French brands, you have a French brand like Maison, which is like the ultimate French girl style. And there are other brands that are really into colors, like for example, Balzac has a lot of prints. If you think about French style and quiet luxury, it's not necessarily Balzac or Beige. French style isn't just black, white, and gray. No, it's way more diverse. Les Couplets and Sandro and Maj are way more cool, way more edgy. There is so much to discover. You don't have to dress the way everybody does. This is something that maybe is also the mindset that comes from growing up in a small town. Maybe you don't fit in because you don't dress like anybody else. When I go partying in my hometown, everybody is wearing the same shoes, jeans, with a shirt. This is something that I had to learn living for the past 5 years in Paris. You can be you. There is a space for everybody. So hoping to crack the French style code. Maybe this is the code for you. Don't try to look Parisian. Try to look like you in Paris. There is only one version of you, so be confident. That's also when your clothes start to tell a story. Like this video and subscribe if you want to see more of my Paris life. I highly recommend you to go on my Instagram. I even started to write a Substack, so also feel free to follow me on there and tell me which city changed your style. If you love this video, you love to wear new items, discover new brands, stay tuned because I'm working on my own physical store in Paris. I hope to make it happen this year. It's called Maison Laboo. Stay tuned for more updates and I hope to see you at the next video. See you! Bye!